I swear to God, y'all should just see the Diddy Bop we just be doing right now.
I was just mocking him.
My name is Andrew Coley, aka LIP, live in public, and this is Sassy and Savage. I am the Savage, and this is the
Sassy.
So, on today's show, we got a couple of, little awkward things to talk about. One of them being my personal favorite. In a relationship, when is it the right time to shut the fuck up? See, my wife will probably like this subject more than anybody else because she says I never shut the fuck up. So that's why I want to know the best time to hear is when is the right time to shut the fuck up.
Oh, she's going to be watching this hard.
Yeah, she'll be watching all of them hard to tell me what I said wrong and when I'm fucking up. So, she'll always be watching.
Shout out to wifey.
Yeah, for real though. So, basically, when in a relationship is it time to really shut the fuck up?
Always. No, wait. I don't know. I just feel like, arguing, when you're arguing and we talked about this the last time. The whole arguing and then you go on for so long and so long and so long. Like, you have the people like me that just can't pay attention anymore because it's like, I just lose concentration. Or, I know men that are just like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're just talking way too much. It's annoying.
That's definitely a thing. Because for me, my biggest problem in the situation is, all right, we get it. We've heard what you had to say. We know exactly where you're going. Shit, fuck, you might have won. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's half the fucking problem I have with a lot of these situations is I'm already done. We already got to a point where you won. I've already lost my whole entire need to will of arguing with your ass. You've won now. Shut the fuck up. Like, pretty goddamn simple. It's pretty easy. Just shut the fuck up at this point.
Yeah, but you know what? Some women do not know when to shut the fuck up.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, I just look at it in the simple as this. Like, you can be in a fight with your girl, right? Or your man, vice versa. And that person could have expressed their point or whatever they have to say. And rather than them just getting out what they have to say and leaving it alone, they need to spend the next 10 years explaining the 20 other thousand shit you did wrong at the moment to now explain why you're wrong.
I totally agree with that.
Like, that's my biggest problem. Or they have gotten they didn't get what they need out, and the person obviously can't understand what the fuck they're saying, so they just keep repeating the same shit, thinking that at some point in time, they gonna be heard.
Well, I mean, why are you just gonna be a broken record to somebody that can't understand? Or maybe they got the point, maybe they're just not as vocal as you want them to be. You know what I mean? Like, are you gonna talk to me forever? And I get it, but you just keep yapping. That's when I want you to shut the fuck up, because it's too much now. If you feel that I don't get it, so you keep explaining yourself and then you keep telling me I don't get it, oh my God, you know what? Shut the fuck up and get out.
But I mean, here's the real question that you really have to look at yourself in the situation. Is the person in your relationship truly actually trying to express themselves and you're not allowing them to? Or is this just one of those situations where your impatience gets the better of you? Because I find that my biggest problem is that I just don't like listening to people's bullshit because 90% of the time my brain is already heard what they have to say without them having to say it. If that makes any sense. Like, your mannerisms already told me.
Right.
Like, you're annoyed. I don't need to hear the extra reason why you're annoyed now.
Yeah.
I've heard, like, from the I heard that part. You see what I'm saying? Like, as a man, like, the one thing that my wife drives me nuts about is she won't want to do something. So before she even fucking says anything or she puts any effort into it, she gets annoyed about, Woman, try it first before you fucking get annoyed. Like, that's my biggest, like, that gets on my nerves to no fucking end. Because it's a part of, like, shut the fuck up. It's like, try the shit first before whining about it.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes that's the nature of women. Most women.
I love the clarification, and I love how I didn't have to say anything to you on that. That was awesome.
No, because I feel like everything that I say, because people are so sensitive, and if you forget to say some people or majority of the people, you know, people will get offended.
Oh, we live in cancel culture, so don't even get that twisted. That's half the problem. We live in cancel culture, so if you say some shit that you ain't supposed to, somebody's gonna basically turn around and find offense with it.
Yeah, I know.
That's half the fucking problem. But hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't even gotten a chance to even fucking introduce you to the new technology on our show today.
Oh, I love it.
Like, watch this. Like, we got a lot more. So if you be hearing some random little things like this in the background, like, you know, when we say something inspirational, Queen Wave, put up your hand, that's that Queen Wave. And, you know, whenever this one over here, some you know, gems of sassy wisdom, we drop one of these. Like, watch her flutter her fucking eyelids as she's doing that, like some Twinkle Bell shit.
Zoom in on this.
Oh yeah, just straight zoom. And then, like, you know, there's the occasional crickets. Because some of us, and sometimes we don't be saying shit that make no sense, so, you know, we use that one. And, you know, for the occasional little jokey joke. And, because I know I say some strange X-File shit, and I do say some shit that will have motherfuckers, like, doing the people's eyebrow looking at me. Like this one over here. There it is.
And I do be threatening people, so I like that.
That's all I have to say to that. Threatening. Too bad for them when they don't like it.
Wow.
Like, ain't that a greatest goddamn sound that somebody happened to play that on a song and then somebody just figured that that was pure emotion? Like, nigga, that just sound like the most down shit ever.
I think it was the facial expression that went with it.
Like you playing the two.
I'm still choking. I choked earlier. And you don't.
See, this is how you know she knows me, because she already knew the joke was coming.
I'm still recovering from choking on my beverage. All right.
Hallelujah.
Whew.
So, all right. We gotten the reasoning and the understanding for shutting the fuck up out of the way.
Right.
I just want to know, is there a time and a place for a man to be able to tell you to shut the fuck up in public?
Isn't. No, what?
Especially in public? It's a question I gotta ask. Because I think there is a time. But it's specific.
Pearls. What the hell? No.
Because I think there is a time for both men and women to be able to use that card, but only in specific situations.
To say, shut the fuck up? No. That's dead. Like, I'm stabbing you in your throat. Definitely not. If you want me... I fucking love that shit. If you feel like I'm being too extra, or you do want me to shut the fuck up, you better whisper in my ear where nobody can hear. And just be like, you know what? You're doing a little bit too much.
Well, I think that's a part of the entire equation of, like, what I'm talking about.
You said shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, no. But there's levels to shut the fuck up. Alright, I'll give it. Level number 1 is like, alright, you can't see it, but Tio know what I'm talking about. That's a level 1 of shut the fuck up right there. The nudge, because y'all women be using level 1 all fucking day. Level 1.
If I was skinny, I would have been like, who the fuck are you touching? I'm not shutting the fuck up. But because he just went into the creases, I was like, oh, fuck no.
Hey, man, that's that good crease. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yes.
Yo, hey, fellas, am I right? Ain't that the best thing to grab onto?
Hey, you got some of those guys out there that love the skinniness, and they're just not gonna agree with you.
Nigga, who the fuck likes a goddamn Eggo waffle?
What?
Yeah, that's what it be feeling like. Like you grab onto a skinny bitch, like it just feel like an Eggo waffle.
Oh boy.
Like you, especially when you nut on it, be like Eggo waffle with syrup on it.
Ew. What? Oh no, I'm gonna be choking the rest of the show.
I'm just saying, like, alright, like you get this section of when you get into a relationship, you get that look good, you know, that good gushy. Like when you grabbing onto something, especially when they grab on the thigh, when you get the chance to grab onto the extra thigh meat on the side right there, you can't do that with no skinny bitch.
No.
It's all bone. What the fuck are you grabbing, nigga? And then when you go to slap her ass, and nigga, you hit a bone, don't that feel wrong? Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, hit your elbow right now. That's what it's like fucking like smacking a skinny bitch's ass. Like, hitting your elbow right there.
No.
That feels wrong. Now, slap your thigh meat and tell me what it's like. Slap that thigh meat right there. That's what it's like to hit a thick bitch. You see the difference? Feels better, right? Ah, it feel better.
Yeah. Come on, I knew that.
That's what I'm saying. So, to all them niggas who just be fucking like them extra skinny women, I don't know what the hell to tell them.
That's like, hold on though.
Get you a thick bitch, it's warmer.
But that's like when, you know, women with meat, actually even skinny women, are messing with, you know, a skinny man that's on top of them, and they're fucking.
That's a forest fire.
That thing, that bone is just digging into us, and then you know.
That's a pure forest fire. That's all I'm saying. Like, you ever seen two sticks rub together and see what the fuck kind of mess it's about to cause?
I think that's caused by pubic hair.
Like, I swear to God, half of the goddamn Australian forest fire was caused between two dry lesbians rubbing on their pussies together.
Oh my god. This was a Howard Stern moment.
That's all I'm saying. Like, half the dry season out there is caused by vaginal dryness.
Oh my god. I think that there's women that suffer from it. They might take offense to that.
Well, I apologize in advance for your vaginal dryness and hope to God that at some point in time somebody licks you into submission.
Me too.
That's all
Well,
I'm saying.
I mean,
I hope somebody licks you into submission. It's not a bad thing. Like, I just hope somebody put it on you and you get rid of that
But
dryness.
sometimes they can't even get it like that too. I mean, like, I think some female, well, I've seen it on TV, but some females have a lot of problems getting lubricated.
But ain't that what lube for?
Yeah, but it's like, where's the fun in that? Like, you can't even produce your own shit. Like, you just gotta, like...
Hey. If you
give me
can't...
the lube.
All I'm saying is, if you can't produce it, guess what? KY makes it.
I guess.
And here's the thing, though. It's to whatever needs to get the job done. Doesn't mean that you need to be having no porno experience. Doesn't mean that it's not right.
Well, you know what? I forgot you don't have a vagina, so let me explain.
Exactly. So I don't know any of this shit.
Yeah. So, us producing our own thing, we could actually feel it coming down. You understand what I'm saying?
We feel it too. Trust me. That shit
And-
feels dry in the motherfucker. Then all of a sudden, splash waterfalls. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Hold on. First of all, if you gotta put your finger in and it's dry before something comes down, there's a little bit of problem.
Yeah,
You should have been doing something.
rub the outside before you get inside, bro. Tip number 1.
Not even that. How about you just do something? Maybe say something. Maybe touch somewhere else other than.
Oh yeah. Rub
to
them titties
get
hard.
us-
Yeah, rub them titties nicely.
To get us to that point, you know, that's what makes it fun.
Like, the only time you should be excused on just going straight for the pussy is if you only got 10 to 15 minutes or less. Because let's be real, nigga, you can spend that whole 15 to 20 minutes priming the goddamn engine before you hit start, goddammit.
Yeah, well, yeah. Quickies, I mean, like...
Quickies is built for us. Like, let's be real. Fucking and long-term shit is meant for you. Because Hennessy dick, trust me, Hennessy dick is no good to a man. Because no, think about it. Our objective at that point in time is to nut and go to bed. Hennessy dick means I'm fucking you for 2 hours. In my own mind, I'm thinking to myself, in my own mind, I'm thinking to myself, nigga, can you just, like, nigga, we have stuff to do. Nigga, I want to go home. Like, you sitting there thrusting, dig out, and then your back get tired, then the alcohol starts wearing off, and you start doing that holy sweat shit where your whole face baked in. Like, you know exactly what the fuck it's like looking up at us. You be looking up at us, be like, nigga, ain't you done yet? You got the same look I have in my mind.
I mean, like, yeah, but, you know, when's the next time we're ever gonna get that again?
The next day, if you need it.
Are you gonna drink Hennessy?
Hey, if it's necessary.
Man, and then you start getting them drips of sweat in your eye.
That's what I'm talking about, right there. Like, that extra, we doing too much. Like, especially if we drunk. Like, here's the thing. If we in the mood to fuck, that's an all day thing. What I mean by that is I start off in the morning time. We do some, like, you know, kind of small stuff before we get out of bed. Mm-hmm. We eat some breakfast. Mm-hmm. I hit it at the table. We wouldn't even leave from where we going. We hit it upstairs. You know, we go have a smoke, go have a conversation.
It can't be forced though.
No.
I feel like some people force that shit and it doesn't feel good.
No, that's a natural progression of what I'm saying. By if you hitting it all day, that's like you both ain't got nothing to do. Mm-hmm. You both ain't seen each other in a hot minute. Mm-hmm. You ain't even been around each other in a good hot long second.
All right, that shit's good.
So you think to yourself, I'm gonna work wifey out today. I'm gonna put it on wifey today. Mm-hmm. So usually what most men do is, all right, here's the trick you gonna recognize when your man or your significant other is trying to put something on you. You wake up, the house is clean. Because he already playing. That's what I'm saying. He know he ain't playing games. The house is clean.
That's automatic.
He went through the whole gumption of cleaning the goddamn house. He don't want no distractions.
That's a smart nigga.
If there's kids in the house, stay out the house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You wake up, then all of a sudden your favorite snack is somewhere. Because tip number 2, fellas, if you want to get in they pussy, feed they tummy.
Right, some crab. Just ASMR.
Either whatever they need. So, and then the third thing, the real, and I mean the real shit. Plant that nasty ass shit in her mind the night before.
Yeah, let her work up
That's what I'm saying. You know. Don't be doing nothing. Just walk up to it and say, tomorrow morning, no panties. Don't say no more and walk away.
Yeah. I agree. I'm just, there's a lot of ladies that don't wear panties. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what the
Then no, they ain't no substitute then. Just slide your fingers in and be like, that's my girl.
Andrew, what's that 1800 doing?
Just that honesty, bro.
Like Drake.
That's just that honesty, bro. Like what you do is you slide in, you let it know what's popping, and then you slide back out. The problem is for most niggas is that they think to themselves that I need to do a whole bunch of work and I need to do a whole bunch of shit before it's special. No, nigga. What you need to realize is that effort equals special.
And build up of
spontaneity.
Yeah, like if you
I'm bad at that.
Get ready for this is what's gonna happen, and you start teasing her. That's the best shit ever.
See, I'm bad at that shit because I guess my wife is right to some way. I don't really have that much crazy imagination on that side. Like I'm good for here's the thing. I'm a dirty little minded motherfucker. I can admit that.
Are you sure you put something in here?
Yeah, but you want some more? No problem. Like, what you need? You know I got you good.
This is the shit that got Andrew on this topic.
I'm with you on this one, cuz. I'm with you. I fuck with you heavy on that one.
At 1800. Mm-hmm.
But like I was saying, smartest thing to do is, I'm bad for the what I call I'll give you the best. This goes. It's not about the sex, but this is a perfect example of how unimaginative I am. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, just straightforward. I wanted to propose to my girl, right? We'd been together for a couple of years. We've been going through the motions, doing the right things, yada yada yada.
Happened already?
Yeah, it's happened already. Shut up. Yeah, we've been engaged now for years.
What? I'm in the dark. Okay.
Yeah. This is before we even met. No, but this is before we even met. So you have a right to understand that. You have a right to be out in the dark a little bit.
Yeah.
But all right. So I'll paint you the picture. The picture.
Oh.
I already asked her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through this whole thing where he made me promise to make sure that she finished school and the whole thing before she got married, yada yada yada. So that was my mom already knew, and at the time her best friend knew because her best friend helped me pick out the ring and all this other stuff to do, right?
Nice.
So the biggest problem I had was how to be spontaneous. Like I had gone through my fucking mind a million times about like what to do.
Sagittarius.
Like I'd already I'd think, oh, I'm gonna bring her to a game, yo, and I'm gonna do it in front of like the jumbotron and shit. Like I thought all of those fucking random ass like retarded ass thought that most men go through when trying to pick a big deal.
Yeah, those are the like you know the.
It's kind of obvious, but it's harder to put. See, one thing I learned about trying to do the big grand gesture is, the bigger it is the more nerve-wracking and the harder it is to pull off.
Yeah.
You would think that it's easier, okay, I'm just going to walk into a building and then do everything. But here's the thing. You know what the big thing in your mind is? What if she says no in front of all these people?
I can imagine that. I'm not a man, but that would probably be.
I actually just witnessed that like last week. Some dude tried to propose to his girl and he did like in front of like a whole stadium full of people and she said no. God damn! Bruh, I ain't never laughed and wanted to cry all at the same time in my entire life. Cause I'm sorry, it was some real antiquated like unniggerly shit to do.
Fuck. You are the fucking worst.
Like, it was some, like, veritably unniggerly shit to do. Like, you just walk up in there and be like, yo, this nigga was, like, on his knee trying to be all romantic and all this other shit, and this bitch was cold as fuck. She just hit him with the no and walked away.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like...
Y'all act, like, here's the thing. A lot of women will act like they're not the harshest creatures on the planet.
Oh, but we are.
Y'all forget, we learned that men aren't, see the difference between the two dynamics that I've really, really learned is, men, we're the puppy dogs. We don't know how to be vile. Like, let's be real about it. The most obscure and most craziest shit you've ever seen done to another person is usually two females doing it to each other. Like, two females at war will say and do the most craziest shit.
Yeah.
Like, all right, a perfect example. A guy gets into a divorce with his wife. His wife will bankrupt him. She will put him in jail. She will do all this extra shit to him. What does the husband do? He might fuck another bitch. He might not spend any money on you for the rest of your life. But that's it. The limit of his vileness stops at his happiness. As long as he's happy, he don't give a fuck what you're doing.
Yeah.
A woman could be happy and still hold a grudge for the rest of her life,
Oh,
fam.
fuck yeah. No, that's true. That's so true. I agree with that 100%. 100%.
She could be still pissed off at you. Like, she could be the happiest motherfucker. But that nigga still wronged me. Bitch, you getting married.
You know, I feel like with men, I feel like they have to stop and think about their revenge and, you know what I mean, how it's going to play out, whatever, in their mind. With women, it just happens. It's kind of like, we don't even think about it. That's our nature.
I don't think so. I think it's the opposite. Because here's the thing. I think men don't plan shit out. Because when a man does something and he's reactive, he's actually at that time finally expressing his emotions. 9 times out of 10, men aren't, like, I don't know, maybe it's for me. I mean, I'm just listening for myself or the things I've witnessed, but 9 times out of 10, when a guy's in a breakup, that's when he's emotional. I should have loved this bitch. I should have took her somewhere. All this other bullshit. You hear that nigga crying about everything he should do. He goes through all his feelings and emotions. All the shit that he should have been doing in his relationship ends when it's at the end of the relationship. When a woman is done with your ass, nigga, she turns all that emotion into thinking about how to fuck with you. Not fuck you. Fuck with you, nigga. She thinking she's going to the gym now to put on the best pair of outfit next time she sees you. She thinking she gonna get the baddest nigga on the man so that nigga ain't got more money than you. She thinking that she gonna make sure that her family like her new man more than you. She thinking of every single time I see this nigga, I need to stunt on him. So pretty much y'all are put more energy into the breakup than we do.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we do. We do. But, I don't know. see some things I try to relate with and some things I can't, but I do know, I've done my fair share of that, before. And, but, in the past, like, maybe 10 years, I haven't put effort into trying to make somebody feel that way, because I feel like due to the person that I am and due to the way that I am, I kind of just want to do it in a way that I don't have to put that effort in. It just happens.
But that's emotional growth, though. That's you being able to realize something about yourself and not needing to see that same thing in another person.
Yeah. But then again, men, to me, haven't been the same way emotionally from, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Tia, you can tell that, you say this to me all the time. I'm kind of like a throwback. Because I'm probably one of the only dudes that's 100% honest all the time.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about, like, I'm a pure Stone Age throwback to what men were like in, the 80s and 90s?
Love it.
But there's a reason for that, though. Because I got the benefit of the doubt. Like, whereas men of today ended up having to listen to their girlfriends or the TV or whatever it is, tell them what they should be, I got raised by women. So I had no choice but to be the man they needed rather than the man that they wanted me to become.
Right.
Like, I learned that it wasn't about washing dishes and doing all that shit, like, it was about literally taking care of your shit. Like, my uncle, he's the strongest motherfucking dude I ever witnessed. That man barely spoke more than 10 words. But when he did, it was like listening to the gospel being read.
I love those times.
Because he's straight, stoic and poetic. He was one of the last males in my family, and before he died, I realized something. The reason why all of his sisters were so well, basically, they got themselves to a position in their life where they needed to go, is because they didn't have to worry about their dad or their brother. Because at some point in time, he was always there to anything they needed. If they needed something done, he didn't talk. It was all action. He expressed himself by just being actionable. Yeah. The man never needed to say a word. They just needed to say Jeffrey, and like a snap of a hand, that man was like poof there, finished, and walked away into his quiet corner. I wish I could be more like that, but I was raised by women, so I'm a lot more I can't say it's because of that, but I just say it added to it.
Yeah.
But I'm different in the sense that I realize there's certain parts about myself. I can see that I'm isolated, I'm a little closed off, but at the same time I'm very communicative in certain ways. So it's like, I don't know, me being this old school throwback comes to the fact that these are the only experiences I've ever had. And what I mean by this is, the new guys in today's market, or the new people coming up, I can't blame them for being overly sensitive and overly fucking chichified to some degree. It's because, that's what y'all are asking for.
Yeah.
Every time you turn on a TV, every time you turn on a movie, you hear about, these dudes being, toxic masculinity, and guys need to do it. You can't even call a spade no more.
Yeah.
If I were to say to somebody, you're a fucking asshole, I'm just received as somebody being a dick. They don't ask the question of why that other person's being a dick and why I called them an asshole. They just hear, you're an asshole.
Yeah. Society's a little... You know what? I don't mean to say it, because I see a lot of people say it where, society is more sensitive these days, and people don't like it. And it's especially the internet bully people. I gotta say that. It's always the people that love to say shit on the internet to hurt people's feelings.
I love internet bullies because I love fucking with them. You know me and internet people, and you know how much I especially trolls, man. Those are my favorite because I love frustrating them.
Hey, sometimes I live for your shit. Your comments, I live for that. I'm oh, and you comment. Let me
wait for it. I think there's a lot of y'all that do, because the amount of people who actually hit me up like after somebody does something stupid, and they're like, "Bro, I wanted to comment, but you said everything in the comments." So I'm
Hey,
like,
that's me. Like, you know what? I'm straightforward, but sometimes I'll just be like, "Yo, Andrew, did you see this post? Go look at it. All right, send it to me." I send it to me. It always starts with the funniest shit. This is the biggest amount of bullshit I've
"Y'all just be waiting for the top of the rant, aren't
Oh
you?"
my god, it's lovely. I love it.
And I think the worst part is the reason why y'all love it is because I type the way I talk.
It's so true. It's so true.
I don't filter. Like, a lot of people go through the manage of trying to be grammatically correct.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I will tell you exactly the way I'm speaking to you. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more
No,
fun.
but no, seriously, back to that. I realized that a lot of those people that I know that are being internet bullies, they are actually the most sensitive people I know.
Exactly.
And they're being the internet bullies, and they're posting shit to offend people, and they're like, "Oh, we're tired of this." Sorry, of these sensitive ass people. But I know you in real life, and I'm
you're
like,
the most
you are the
sensitive
most sensitive person I know.
It's like this whole, like, I hate to be off topic but on topic. It's like this
No.
whole, like, women's movement for like needing for everybody to be secure and safe in this, like, today's market where, like, you know, they got all this shit about, like, Bill Cosby and all of this other shit. Like, it's like the Gail Travers shit just happened with Kobe, right?
I don't know about that. I've seen your post.
Oh, okay. I'll break it down to you. All right. Lisa Leslie is a former basketball player.
Okay.
And she's, like, probably the greatest female basketball player of all time. Shout out to Lisa. Like, actually one of the dopest female players ever to live. And Gail Travers was Oprah's best friend or whatever else.
Yeah.
I don't even know really. Like, I've seen her interviews, and I've seen that she's always, like, the way, what I've taken from the interview is that she does a good job of being perspectively straightforward in her interviews. But my problem with is that she's never the same way with all the people she interviews. Especially when it comes to black people. Like, I've just noticed that she takes a very hard turn. Like, you can interview, like, if I want to interview somebody and I want to keep the same energy, I should keep the same energy with every single person that's on the show. Like, if I'm a hard ass, I should be a hard ass with everybody. If I'm light, I should be light with everybody. And if I'm a heavy-handed person, I should be that way with every person.
What's her negativity? Like, who is her negativity geared to?
Black people. Because every time I've ever heard, like, the stuff that she asks and the way that she is highly condescending on air. Like, okay, perfect example. She was talking to Lisa and she was asking multiple questions, not just one. Like, asking one question is taking a shot in the dark and then trying to see if something sticks. But asking multiple questions is gauging something. You're creating a narrative. It's like me saying, "Hey, so you suck pussy, right?" And then you say to me, "No, nigga, I don't suck pussy." So you should be able to tell me what pussy tastes like, right? And you'd be like, "Nigga, didn't I just say to you that I don't suck pussy?" And then 5 seconds, I'll be like, "Nah, nigga, I could have sworn you're the nigga who ate the pussy."
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
you can continue denying it, but eventually in that person, the conversation, and the other person's listening, they're going to think that you're the one running from the form of questioning, even though it has nothing to do with your original argument.
Yeah.
And that's the way she worded it. She was like, "Oh, so..." Like, basically, she was like, I'm paraphrasing here, but she was, like, basically saying that how Kobe's past was checkered. And it's like, how can you say... Lisa was like, no. She's like, he's had one moment in his entire like, life where we could have thought that it was checkered, but it turns out that it wasn't. And he's been a great father, a great person, a this,
Yeah, like
a leader in the
yeah.
in the community. From, like, she's like, I can't remember a time where Kobe was basically, like, she's paraphrased. She's like, I can't actually, and then she moved on, and then she brought it back again. Then she brought it back again. It's like, you can tell that she's trying to dig up something for the sake of digging up something.
I would have just outed on that shit.
But that's that, and then the same thing with Oprah, with her friends, Mr. Weinstein, and all the other shit that they end up being friends with. But they want to do, like, Surviving R. Kelly, and they want to do shit about Michael Jackson, and all their quote unquote best friends are all on trial, and ain't nobody, like, she got a fit. You know what the sad thing about Oprah is? For a woman, like, I hate to say it this way, and it's gonna sound very controversial. And this is probably gonna be the one time where I want everybody to understand that I am not being malicious and I'm actually being completely just straightforward asking a question here.
Right.
For a woman who was honestly physically raped by a black man, I think she hates black people. I think that narrative of her being under that created a narrative that she treats us harsher. Like, the amount of way she deals with rappers and the way she deals with people from lower end communities and the way she accepts these I don't even best way to call it, like these scavengers of life. Like, her own spiritual leaders are a rapist. Some of her best friends are all rapists. Like, she be hanging out with Donald Trump and all of those dudes, and all of them are like grabbing chicks by pussy and fucking got a whole bunch of charges up the wazoo. Like, her whole phone book is filled, like Charlie Sheen, the whole black bro. They all got pictures with Oprah.
And you know what? Money is a bitch. Money will. I'm telling you, like, you know what? It's the good thing is what you said was you think.
I'm not putting this out there as real. I'm not putting this out as real. I'm just thinking this is a personal opinion from based off of what I can see.
And you know what? I don't wrong your thoughts at all. Because I personally know somebody that's close to me who was raped. Where they came from, a third world country, and it's like. They hate when people say that they hate black people, but they do have resentment towards them. And it's like when people go through trauma and they go through something, they
all they see.
Yeah, they see certain things, and it's like we are looking at them on the outside of the bubble, and they're like, yo, you can't, classify everybody as that, and you can't treat everybody as that because that's what you went through. Right?
Yeah.
But Oprah, as a public figure, and who, calls herself a black woman and whatnot.
No, she only calls herself in spirit. I don't think Oprah ain't been black since the 90s. No, not joking. Like, I'm being completely real here. I don't think, here's the thing. When you get to a point of social standing,
oh, sorry.
Yeah. When you get to a point of social standing, I think the fact that your blackness goes away. I think you make enough money that the only people you're around with are the people who make the same type of money as you. And when you get to a certain lifestyle, you don't see color anymore. You only see dollar signs.
That's right.
So when you get to a point of when you get to so rich and you only see dollar signs, you forget that you black. You forget that treatment that got, like, 2 years ago, Oprah got denied in Italy to buy a bag when she could have bought the store 50 times over. Everybody forgot about that, right?
I remember that story.
She was in Milan, and then this bitch was trying to tell her she can't afford the bag. Bitch, do you know I'm Oprah? Like, she should have just went straight a hood on her. It says, bitch, do you know I'm Oprah?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, I think she forgot her blackness a long time ago. I think she forgot. Like, I think she's gotten to a point in her life now where it's better to be. It's like the same thing with Michael Jordan. I put them both under the same quote because they don't seem to define themselves as black people anymore. They just define themselves as wealthy people.
Well, what makes you think that though? Like, do
their actions
say that? Like, what's
their actions?
The action.
The actions. Like the fact that you can't touch them. The fact that you can't be it. Like, no person of color has ever come out other than Gayle and said that Oprah in any way, shape, or form, unless it's a part of their network or unless it's unless you're Tyler Perry. And even Tyler Perry has said that it's hard to carry the Oprah weight because she expects a lot. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you get, like, I can see, all right, I digress, but I'll show you exactly. Comedy. Why is it that Eddie Murphy looked out for Martin Lawrence, who looked out for, like, every other comedian afterwards, which every other comedian looked out for them, who, like, they're all a fraternity. White comedians, black comedians, everybody's a fraternity. Mm-hmm. But the second you get to show business, it's only next nigga up.
Right.
Like, that to me is the only problem I see.
I kind of agree with you on that.
Like, because that's all I see from her. It's like, she takes down people. And I mean, we can go back to the point, we can go back to our original point about, like, why we're all doing this, or why, like, when you're in a relationship and you don't see the other person's side, and you don't see what's going on, how can you change what's happening? So I think that's the same problem why I brought up Oprah to begin with. Is because she doesn't realize that she's been wronged by that person, so she doesn't realize that she is now wronging everybody else, because she still sees that hurt and that pain when I think she sees us. When I think she sees niggas' face, I think she still sees that guy who raped her.
That's a strong point. There are females like that out there that have been raped and they can't see past that.
Like, I remind everybody, and I'm going to say this 100 times over. This is not me passing judgment on her. I just think that her pain has created this facade.
I actually have, like, one quick thing to talk about that's kind of personal. I will share it.
Yeah.
I won't go deep in detail, but when I was younger, I was about, like, I don't know, 17. I was going to a party. And I must have, like, lost my car keys. I took a taxi there with my friends. And so this guy comes up to me. I will not say what race, but he came up to me and he's like, oh, did you lose your keys? They're Honda keys. And I was like, oh, yeah. All right, well, my boys have it up there. You know me. I'm not about to be like, oh, that guy got there. No, I was like, give me my fucking keys. Like, so I went up there and I was like, could I get my keys? And they were kind of just dangling it in front of me, and was like, oh, so where's your car? Just asking me stupid questions, and I was getting irritated.
What you do?
So, all the time. So, I kind of got really irritated, and I started, like, I was mouthing off. And they basically took me and took my head and beat it off of a brick wall. And then put me on a snowbank and, was trying to take off my clothes and stuff. It didn't really work. I had tight clothes on. And I was screaming. I was doing all types of things. They're like, oh, if you stop. Oh, that sounds so good.
It's like a commercial, isn't it?
They're like, basically, if you stop screaming, we'll take you home.
That don't sound right.
Right? So I knocked out. I was like losing blood, like all types of shit. And then I remember waking up and I was in a chef, like in a kitchen, the back of the kitchen of a restaurant. And I just remember like flashbacks of just blood spewing out of my head. I woke up in the hospital, the police came and they were like, do you know who this was? And I was like, grog. I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, no. I was like, no. I just know that they were this race. They said, okay, when you wake up, we'll finish the,
questioning, the line of questioning.
Yeah, the questioning. I woke up. I've never heard from these police ever again. They never checked up on me. You know what I mean? I went home, and this is the what I'm getting at. Is that this race, I was scared to see even, like, mostly the men of this race. Yeah.
You were so traumatized from it, you didn't want to see them at all.
I didn't want to see them. And even when I would see the women, I would have to tell myself, you know what, not all of them is like that. And not even all men are like that from them. And it took me years and years and years, even till now, to even be like, you know what I mean? I have to instill it in my head that not every race is like that.
Well, you sound like you went through some PTSD. That's really what that is. And you have to address that situation for what it is and literally remind yourself that that is not the defining moment of your life.
Right.
Because I think that's... Sexual trauma comes in many forms. Whether you're a young man and some girl goes to advance on you too quick and now you think that's the way things are for the rest of your life. or you're a young woman and you're far too young and your body grows too fast, so everybody else starts pressuring you to doing things that you're not used to. Or you could be just a confused kid in the wrong situation and end up as a sex worker or something like that. Trauma happens in many forms. The thing is to identify the trauma, to learn that the trauma doesn't define you, and to advance from the trauma to what I like to say is outgrow it. You give yourself enough time to allow yourself to distance yourself from it, that it doesn't become you.
It's gotta be another word than outgrow, because you can never outgrow that. I think it's just like maybe. See, I can't even find a word.
Well, I don't think the definition is named, but I mean, it's like what I mean by outgrow is you outgrow the need to go back to that dark place every time.
Oh yeah.
You're at that point where you can look at the situation for what it is. You can walk like getting into a fight the first time. As a dude, you get terrified because you're like, yo, could get my ass whipped, could get my face busted off, could this happen? You start playing a million things in your head till you psych yourself to the point where you don't want to fight. But then when you're in a fight and you realize and you get punched in the face and you get your first broken nose and you're like, nigga, this is it? This is all I was fearing? Like, that's why all men, like, past the age of 15 have no problem, like, you want to fight, like, you know, that's why. Because once they realize that the worst that can happen to me is that a bloody lip and a couple of bruises, but if I can stop you so this never happens again,
right?
That's why. So I think it's
the ones that black out that can't feel anything.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what I mean. So I think it's the same kind of central understanding. Like once you separated yourself from the pain that you feel, whatever trauma it is, sexual, like emotional, once you can finally separate yourself from it and you don't let it define you, you can separate yourself from it.
Yeah, most definitely. I have, like, you know, I still see them and I, you know, we live in a really diverse country and a really diverse province.
It's Bangladesh, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't live in Bangladesh.
Yeah, you do. You live in Mississauga bed.
Don't.
You live in Mississauga bed.
Who is that? Where is
Mississauga bed.
What?
Yeah. You live right beside the Twin Towers.
Listen, the majority of these people live in Toronto. Okay. You don't really see them around. Well, a little bit.
Yeah. I was about to say, go to Square One and see Square One on a Saturday, and you tell me who lives here.
Hey, I live all over. Okay.
All I'm saying is there's a lot more Arabic lettering popping up around here. A lot more Indian writing popping up all over the city.
Oh,
it's a lot. It's a lot. That's all I'm saying. Shaklam.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom so bad.
Like, the store you live underneath is called Rabba, fam. And it's ran by a couple Indians.
First of all, I live above it.
The store that you live, like, right above, like, fam, is literally a Rabba.
And y'all don't come looking for me because there are exactly...
Don't be giving them all the information out.
12 or to 15 Rabbas in this city. Okay? Just letting you know.
And on that note, she's Sassy, and I'm Savage. And this has been the Sassy and Savage podcast. Thank you for joining us.